About functions and in particular custom functions in JavaScript. So first I'm going to go into some random folder and I'll create a file called functions.html and then shrink this up a little bit so that we have the full use of our workspace here. And then I'll do this little exclamation point, hit return, and it fills out some basic HTML for me. Okay, so chances are, if you've been following along in courses that I have, that you already know how to use certain functions in JavaScript. So you know, for example, that you could do math.round, and you can pass in some number like 10.5, and it's going to round it up. Now, of course, that's when it's surrounded by some script tags, so that we're actually running JavaScript and not just doing some HTML that prints out to the screen. There's other ones as well. You could have, for example, let my num, and I'm going to make this a string right here, but I'll say 55, and then I could turn that from a string as the computer sees it to an actual number by doing my num equals parse int and then passing in a string. And that'll convert a string into an actual number that's safer for doing mathematical calculations. So we've seen different versions in our life of functions, things that have a short, pithy word with some parentheses, and then typically we pass something into it, and then it will return something back again. So at a high level, I might ask the question, what is a function? Well, a function is like a little library that does some work for you, and it does it predictably over and over and over again. We've been using somebody else's functions at this point, but we can write our own. How do we write our own? Let me go ahead and delete that. Well, this isn't real syntax, but just a generic syntax. If I say function name, optional parameters. Boy, the typing is bad today, isn't it? And then we'll do some statements. Okay, so this is not correct syntax, but it's the overview of how we set up a function. We started off with the word function. We give it some name. We don't have to, but we can pass in some parameters to the function, and then we can do some work. And then if we want to return a value back out of our function, we can say return, and then we'll pass some value here that we're returning back. Usually it's a variable that we've set. Okay, let's go and do this for real now. All right, so the context that I'm going to have is that we have employees of the Paradise Donut Company, and we want to give them some good vibes. We want to generate an inspirational message for them every time they clock in on the HTML page where they do their clocking in for work. So we're going to write a function called generate inspirational message, and here it goes. Function generate inspirational message. It doesn't take any parameters in this case, and we're just going to print back out to the screen alert well, let's use a double quote here because we're going to mix double quotes and single quotes. You're good enough, you're smart enough, and darn it, people like you, exclamation point. All right, so it's sitting there. It hasn't been used yet. To use it within our script tag, we can just type in the name of that function, and I'll go ahead and hit save, and I'm going to let my code formatter reformat my page a little bit, and then I'm going to say go live, and it pops it open for me over here, and there we go. You're good enough, smart enough, and darn it, people like you. Okay, and we're done. Fantastic. Okay, so that's a good start there. Let's go ahead and add another function here. So imagine that in addition to telling people something nice, we want to give them some instructions. Let's just say that as they work in the donut location, that maybe it's a donut factory, we want them to remember to do certain things on certain days of the week. Maybe they need to do a deep cleaning on Thursdays, or maybe they always forget to clock out on Fridays. So let's create another function for our employees when they log in that's dependent on the day of the week. And so we'll call this one generate employee reminder. And again, this one is not going to take any inputs. I'll hit save there so it kind of gets the formatting a little nicer for me. Okay, so I want to generate the message based on the day of the week that it is. So I'll say let my date equals new date. Now, I'm going to tell you a little something. I knew that there was probably a way for JavaScript to tell me what day of the week it is, and I didn't know that off the top of my head, so I just typed into Google generate JavaScript day of the week, and I got back 2 lines of code that look like this. That one, and then this second one right here. Let day of week equal my date dot get day. Okay, and so let me explain what we're seeing here. This one is, I'll put a little comment there. This is create a date object. And in my course later on, we'll talk about what objects are. For now, we'll just say it's a complex variable. So it's a variable with extra special features. And then this one right here gets us a number 0 through 6. So depending on what day of the week it really is, if it's a Sunday, we should get a 0. If it's a Monday, we get a 1, all the way up through Saturday, which will be a 6. All right, so now let's go ahead and start using our if statements that we've learned in the past. So I'll say if day of week is exactly equal to 2. So if I go 0 is Sunday, 1 is Monday, 2 is Tuesday. What should we tell people about Tuesday? What do we like to eat on Tuesdays? Well, everybody knows that Tuesday is always Taco Tuesday. So maybe at our company we'll give away tacos on Tuesday. So I'll say, don't forget about free tacos in the lunchroom. Awesome. And as I write this, it's a Thursday, so we're actually not going to get to see this particular message. All right. But if it's not Tuesday, it's going to be some other day of the week. How about I say, else if day of week is exactly equal to 3, so it's Wednesday, maybe that's deep cleaning day. So we'll say, alert, don't forget, it is deep cleaning day. And we do that. And if it's not that particular day, we'll have our little default, which is going to be alert, don't forget to clock out today. Okay, so as I write this, it is a Thursday, and so I'm going to get this default value is what's going to happen. So let me go ahead and grab this, Control C, Control V, hit save, and let us go over to a web page and see what happens. So we'll reload, and first it gives us the inspirational message, and then it says don't forget to clock out today. All right, if for some strange reason we wanted Taco Tuesday to be on Thursdays, I could change that to a 4, and let's see what happens there. So I'll reload, message, Taco Tuesday essentially. Yay! Okay, fantastic. So at this point, we've been talking about using functions without parameters, but we can use them with parameters and pass some messages to it. So let's go ahead and update the way that we've been doing some things. I'm going to, for now, comment out the the employee reminder one. I won't call it, I'll leave it there. I'm going to move this up here a little closer to the function so I can get it on the same screen. All right, so there's my generic inspirational message. How about I now make this more of a customized message, and I'm going to pass a parameter to it. So let's go ahead and pass in the name of a employee. So I'll say S inside employee name. And then down here, I'm going to say let S outside, so S stands for string, outside employee name equal, and we'll just have a box that pops up and allows us to collect this. So prompt, what is your name? Question mark. And then I'm going to take advantage of my function there. I'm going to say the outside, oh, actually, let me do this a little differently. I'm going to return a message from this thing. I'll say let S returned message equal, and then I'm going to talk to that function or use that function, pass in this, and that should be all that we need. Although I would like to see what the returned message is. I need to update this still a little bit more, but I can see already the beginning of my plan. I've collected a name. I'm going to call this function, pass in a name, and then I'm going to get back some message. So I need to do something in here that generates a message that's customized. And then I'd like to print it back out to the screen. So I'll say alert, and then I'll say S string for return message. Okay, there we go. Now I need to fix this thing up somehow. So rather than just doing an alert box in there, let's go ahead and just create a new variable. I'll say let S output message equal, and I'll add this in right here. So I'm going to use that person's name, and then I'll do comma. Well, I'll do plus because I want to concatenate the strings. So let me get rid of this alert box here, but I do want to take advantage of the string that's there. So there it is. I'll put a little comma here. And then I'll kind of get rid of that stuff there as well. I'll scroll over. All right, so I've concatenated a string. I've glued together two different things, a name and a sentence, and it's going to be held in there. As it is right now, if I called that, this is going to be sent to nothing because this doesn't return anything. So let's go ahead and return this value. So return that. All right, with that, we'll go ahead and hit save. And let's see if things are working nicely. I'll say, what is your name? My name is Dagan. I hit return, and it gives me the customized message. Dagan, you're good enough, smart enough, and darn it, people like you. And now the program is over. Okay, so this is working good so far. I'd like to go ahead and stop this video before it gets any bigger, and then we'll pick this up in the next one.